We call it the Hull Purge because the circuit overseer was telling his elders in his congregations to have a purge. We've got that on recording, an elder making comments about follow the direction of the circuit overseer. And yet again, I find myself in front of a computer screen telling you of another victim. Last night in Newland's congregation, it was announced that a brother had been, or should I say, I'll rephrase that. It was announced that a brother was no longer a Jehovah's Witness. Now, I have it on good authority that this was the result of a judicial hearing, and it's believed that this brother was tried on the grounds of apostasy. From what I'm led to believe, he just simply asked questions like many of us do. So here we have another brother who has family in the organisation, who has the vast majority of his friends in the organisation, who now will be shunned, who now will have an extremely hard time at home with his witness family. And I just really, really do not understand why this organisation is so intent on doing this, because for every single person that they disfellowship, there's a family there. There's a family in that organisation that are now torn between the loved one and the organisation.
Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
There was so many, we had to pre-nail these, as you heard at the beginning. Look at this. It is full.
Yes, it is.
And we have the year-end grand total. Mikey, how many?
559.
Yes.
Welcome to your freedom, everybody.
And if we have missed you, we apologize. I thought I had gone through all of my emails that said nail and coffin, but just put nail and coffin in the subject line and go to our website, watchtower.expose, or it's Kimmy M. Brooks on Facebook, and just send us. We also have the open group Watchtower Coffin Lid that you can put a message there and I will get it.
All right, so let's get
ready to get all these? My goodness.
You're going to have to remind me where everybody is right now because I don't remember.
Hopefully. Okay, we've got a family of 10 of light green. So those should be able to...
Yeah, right here, guys.
Okay, GM, AM, TL, AL, JN, ZN, JN, MN, and 2 kids.
Right there.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Okay, and then we have the Strickland family, red between the cross and the yellow.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, there's 8 of those, mom and dad and 6 kids. Okay.
8 right there.
Then we've got the bright yellow under the cross.
Right here.
Should be 6.
Yep.
Okay, Jonathan, Gemma, Isla, Cameron, Sebastian, William. Don't let me forget the old timers.
No, don't forget the old timers. We got a few of them.
Okay, then we've got the dark blue under the yellow.
Dark blue under the yellow. Dark blue under the yellow. Oh, right down here, guys.
5? Yeah. Should be Jonathan, Rachel, Brad, Stephen, and Kyle. Okay, and then we've got pink between the I and P.
Right up here.
Leanne, it was so nice having lunch with you. And Marty, it was wonderful meeting you in person. So this is for Leanne, Greg, and Archie Harriet.
Right
Love
here,
you guys. Okay, and then the clear top right of the cross.
Right down here. Yeah,
Okay,
right over here.
this is R-I, J-I, J-I, and S-I.
Cool.
Okay, and then we have lavender between the I and the P.
Should be 3, right?
we had to fit them all in because we were running out of room. Okay, this is Vicky and 2 kids. Okay, and then we've got 2 clear purple inside the P.
Right up here.
This is for Lisa and Kathleen.
These 2. Cool.
Okay, now we had a little bit of space in the hall area, the orange one. We've got 4 more for the hall area.
Yes.
Actually, we have 5, but one of them is an old timer's.
Yep, you bet.
Okay, so we have Ann, Pete, P, and B.
Cool.
Okay. Now the blue.
Yeah, how many did we have this time?
81. 81.
Yeah.
I think that broke the record of any previous ones. Okay, now the blue, there should be a blue one inside the legs of the R.
Oh, yeah, right here, guys.
Right below his dad, who is in the middle of
right
the
here.
R.
So this is father and son right here.
Yep, this is for Logan.
Cool.
Okay, and then we've got a white one that should have a black dot on it that you did.
Yeah, right up here.
That's for JH.
Right there, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we've got some blue ones. These are singles. Oberon.
Okay, let me find a good place to start because I did the same thing. I put a little black dot on all of them so I know. So let's just start right over here.
Okay, we got Oberon, Jay, Jonathan, John, Lady C. Now this is not the Critical Thinker from YouTube channel. This is a different Lady C. Shada, Melissa, Shirley, Raquel. Now Christian and Katya, thank you so much for getting us these names, and they have many more. They just didn't have time to go through all of the emails and messages. They've been busy helping several people leave. So we have 4 light green under the P.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, right over here.
This is a family of 4. This is TM, KM, and 2 kids. Okay, and then back down to the blue.
Okay.
We should have TW, JW, KW, TK, AK. Am I going too fast for you?
Yeah, that's okay.
JP, EK, PK, DN, AM, JI, CA, JD, TM, ZP, MA.
Okay, now I'm lost, so Kim's just going to continue to shout out the initials. I'm lost.
You went down here and continued the blue ones.
I know, but when you went up here to the green, I lost my place. It is what it is.
Well, just zoom in and you guys can see where all the dots are.
Those you guys will argue.
Okay, MZ, LD, JI, DS, and JM. So that should be all 81 of the new pins, and then we've got 6 old timers. We have Bev, Perla, Susan, Mom and Son, David and Lois, and Peter from the Hall area.
Cool.
Welcome to your freedom, everybody.
Yes, what an honor and a privilege to be able to do this for everybody.
Yes, and I just want to mention, the clip we played at the beginning with Mark of Witness No More doing the latest victim of the Hall area. And, we know that these all make us happy of one's leaving, but we still have to remember that for every one of these pins, all 559 of these, it means another family traumatized, another family broken apart because of the shunning policy. So thank you, everyone, and this is great. And like I said, if you haven't been on here yet, just contact us. Several ways to contact us.
And before we get into the stories, you're probably all wondering, what about 2018's coffin lid? Well, as you can see, we barely had enough room for this year.
So bigger,
here is
bigger,
the coffin lid.
My goodness.
Now let's kind of put this into perspective here, guys. I'm going to try to...
Bigger, better.
That's how much bigger 2018 coffin lid's going to be.
Yeah, so we have plenty of room for everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to thank David. He made us another coffin lid. And we didn't have time to go through all the congregations that have closed. We're going to make it retroactive to all the congregations in the past, and we're going to put the pins on here.
Yes.
So hopefully the next video we will have that.
Yes, so if you know of a congregation that is either merged or a Kingdom Hall that has been sold or closed, let us know. Put in the subject line either Kingdom Hall closed or congregation merged, and then we'll know to start recording those on that particular coffin lid.
Yeah, because several of you have been sending emails and say, hey, you guys should do a separate one just for congregations. Yeah. Good idea.
So thank you, David, for doing that. We appreciate it.
And I just want to do just a couple of quick news things here. When I get a chance, I'm going to put this on our website. Namibia has just had a legal court case, and they've set a precedences that JW volunteer workers are employees and should be paid at least the minimum wage. And when I went to jw.org, there is no branch office in Namibia. So,
Try saying
wonder
that
what.
5 times real fast.
Oh, I can't even say it slow. Okay, now we got a little bit of intel here. Now this is just a rumor, you know, nothing set in stone, just some things we're hearing. I have some inside info from a very long-serving elder, 30 plus years, highly respected. This is via a witness who asked him about the child abuse and 2-witness rule. First off, he warned that far more damaging info was going to come out. Not maybe, it will. He seems to be saying that either one, Watchtower will admit the scandal and do some kind of cover story, damage control, which of course Watchtower will be priming everyone to receive, or 2, he's aware of other things about to come out. My source says he specifically said that because the end is so close, apostates are going to say far more damaging things. It's not just the apostates,
No.
the elders are doing far more damaging things.
Yeah.
And then when questioned on the 2-witness rule, he said the following. We need to remember 1 Corinthians 6, 1 through 8, where the Apostle Paul gave strong counsel that Christians should not take brothers before secular courts to settle personal disputes that should be settled personally, maybe with the guidance of the brother. And I find that disturbing when this applies to the child abuse. Mm-hmm. You know, so they're basically saying, oh, you can't take your brother to court. And then they wonder why we say, Watchtower, you're protecting pedophiles.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he just goes into the Watchtower that was October 1st, 1983. Watchtower on page 28 cautions against telling a sufferer who seeks assistance just to forget what occurred.
Yeah,
But the
right.
Watchtower, beware of the voice of strangers, September 4th, paragraph 20 says, how will we react when we are confronted with A, deceitful apostates, B, harmful associates, and C, biased media reports? When confronted with those who voice apostate ideas, we want to do what God's word states. Keep your eye on those who cause divisions and occasions for stumbling contrary to the teaching that you have learned, and avoid them. And when we see false accusations in the media, we will remember Paul's advice to Timothy. Those who listen to the voice of strangers will be turned aside to false stories. So don't believe everything you feel or have to defend what you know is untrue. Question: how do they know these are false stories and untrue if they don't even go and look at the court documents?
Well, the true issue that Watchtower faces is that you can demonize us apostates all you want. All you're doing is telling the kids, don't touch the hot stove because you're going to get burnt. But if you've never touched a hot stove and don't know what getting burnt means, well, guess what your child's going to do? They're going to touch the hot stove so they know what getting burnt feels like. And you're just creating the same situation, Watchtower. You're telling your adherents, don't listen to the apostates. You know, their words are deceitful. So the apostates say something and it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to go see if this stove is hot. I'm going to go prove that the apostates are lying. And then guess what happens?
They find all the court documents for the child
Yeah,
abuse cases.
Exactly.
In fact, there's a story in here. And this is what I love, is the story. So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing these. This is from Raphael. Hi, Mike and Kim. There's a little story I would like to share with you. It happened about 8 years ago when my husband was still studying the Bible. Since we started dating, even though he wasn't a witness, and one of my conditions was for him to become one. Unfortunately, I didn't wait for him to become a baptized JW, and I was reproved for it. Anywho, my husband is a physician. He completed his degree in another country, then came to the U.S. to pass a series of exams to get into residency. This was a lot of hard work, and it was a relief when he got into a residency program in New York. Fast forward to him continuing his Bible study and coming to the Kingdom Hall regularly. One day the brother studying with him started asking about residency and how he would handle having to order blood, etc. My husband just simply said when it came to that, he had to respect the patient's wishes, not his own.
Right.
Do you know what this brother suggested?
Can I guess? Quit your job?
Oh, don't you just love the elders' wisdom?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, their wisdom is infallible. Or fallible. Whatever. Yeah. It's bullshit.
Yeah. He asked my husband if it wouldn't be best to just drop out of the residency program and take up another job with less responsibility so as not to be the one to order blood for the patients. Now let me remind you that my husband is not from the U.S. He didn't even speak that much English when he came to pass his exams. He got himself this far. For some guy to tell him to just drop out. But here's the funny part. Who do you think they would come get at the conventions when they couldn't handle a problem in that little nursing station they got set up? They would never let him sit in there as an official volunteer, but every single time they would come running looking for him when they were in over their heads. Every single time. And when an elderly sister fainted at the hall, who did they call? Brother Residency.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
Hypocrites.
Yeah. I love Shirley's story here. Hi, Kim and Mikey. I've been trying to get out for a while now. I stopped going to meetings due to picking up on contradictions and then straight out lies. Example, we did not say Armageddon was coming in 1975. That's a biggie. Another, we have never asked any member or other person for money. However, for years they sold their magazines to the householders. And that doesn't even get me started on scriptural teachings, etc. The last straw for me was when they said they were not inspired of God. That article and broadcast has been doing more damage. Anyway, they continue to come to my home trying to talk me into returning. They have used emotional blackmail, guilt trips, etc. Second last visit from them, I told them straight, I no longer believe their BS. The reply, that's okay, Jehovah remembers all the good deeds you have done in his name.
Oh, don't you just feel
and he still loves you.
Yeah, don't you just feel all comfortable with that saying?
I have even called them hypocrites, but still they keep coming. Last visit was they refused to accept my disassociation letter and said all the prophecies have been fulfilled and they are only waiting for the UN to announce peace and security. So they believe now that's the last prophecy to be fulfilled. Yeah. My response about the king of the north turning on the king of the south, what about the world governments turning on religion? And the many other things you said were to happen before the end comes. And I remember all those.
Oh, so do I.
They responded, oh, we made a mistake. Besides, Jehovah doesn't want perfection. He only wants good-hearted people like yourself. My response, BS, you only want me because I was popular and well-liked by everyone, including the householders. In 20 years, I have never had a door slammed in my face, and I have never been threatened or abused. Their response we know, and that is why Jehovah wants you. My response, no, I have never had a door slammed in my face, nor have I ever slammed a door in anyone's face, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Slam the door shut and locked it. Now when they come knocking, I ignore them and don't open the door. Can I please have a pin? Yes, you may, Shirley. You've got one. Okay, now this is a really long one. And I'm sorry, Gemma. I'm just going to say that it sounds like Jonathan has had a rough life. And surprise, Jonathan! He didn't know about this one.
Is this the one story that's really made me envious?
No.
No, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's coming up a little bit later.
Okay. Just going to start here about in the middle. Jonathan was so strong after everything he'd already been through, but this was heartbreaking for him, and it was his granddad, David, had passed away. So he felt as though he needed to consider that there might be some truth to believe and that he could see his family again someday. We decided at this point to look together for answers to all of our questions, and we spoke to 2 JW family members who Jonathan had a great deal of respect for. After this, we were not 100% satisfied with all the answers, but started going back to meetings. All 4 of our other children continued throughout the last 5 years to attend meetings with their other parents, so they were so happy that we were returning. Let's see, chosen. Okay, we found ourselves engrossed in finding out more and more lies that the organization had told, and we quickly realized that it was not the truth. At this point, Jonathan found himself facing a harsh reality. The organization that his entire family had believed and taught him to believe was a fraud. How could his father and grandfather, who had grown up trusting and respecting, not have been able to see it? Quickly, we turned our attention to waking up our older children. Cameron was 13 and Isla was 12. We spent hours showing them all the information we had found. Jonathan, more than I, has done most of the research initially. It took months. Just before her 13th birthday, Isla was wide awake. We were so happy she was free. Disaster ensued, though, as she had made the choice to stop attending meetings. Her monster of a mother gave her an ultimatum: continue being in subjection to her, or she was not welcome in her home. Isla was devastated, but she knew the JWs were false, so she came to live with us. Good. Her mother continued for the next few months to emotionally blackmail her and berate her, calling her an ungrateful, selfish brat. Wow. Jonathan intervened and warned her away from this abusive behavior. Isla was shunned and didn't see her mother for 8 months. Time has passed now, the relationship is beginning to mend, and so it talks about them going on, waking up. Could you read this part out on the show, please? That is his message from me to him. And I'm going to start crying, I just know it. After everything that Jonathan has been through in his lifetime, to find the strength to question his and his family's entire belief system and to free myself and our children from this mind-altering cult, in my estimations, deserves recognition and my thanks, respect, and praise. Thank you to an amazing man who deserved much better from life and from the people close to him. You truly are the most incredible person I have ever met, and love you with all my heart. At this point in time, would you like to add 6 nails to the coffin, please, with 2 more hopefully soon to follow? So I forget what color they were, but there you go. Thank you to you both for all the time and effort that you put into helping everyone with an open heart and ear to wake up and truly see the truth about the truth. Love you guys, and thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Okay, this was the old timer David and Lois. The mom read Crisis of Conscience and was shunned by her kids. And in honor of her memory and all the painful suffering that she endured without a voice, I thought that people should know her story and be informed of the evil that this sick cult organization does to families. Yeah, she would cry and suffer in silence all night long, crying because her kids, JW kids, would not talk to her. J.H. I was raised as a JW. I spent the first 40 years of my life hating God because of what the Watchtower had taught. I was 27 when the elders granted me my freedom. I love the wording of that. However, mentally, I was still held as a hostage by the Watchtowers. I still believed what they taught. I spent the next 13 years trying to get reinstated. When I was about 40, I was reinstated. I thought I was happy. However, after about 6 months, I started to have regrets. I didn't know why I was having regrets. About 1 year after I was reinstated, I approached the elders for help. They formed a judicial committee, and within a month, I was out the door.
Oh, wow.
See, just for having questions.
Jeez.
The day I was DF'd by the committee, something didn't make sense. I kept asking myself, how can 3 men take away my eternal life, as Jesus does the judging? If they could do this, then this meant they were taking the place of Jesus. It didn't make sense to me. After that JC meeting, I went to a longtime friend. He gave me Crisis of Conscience to read. This book woke me up. I was appalled at what I was reading. It took me about 1 month to read, but took me a year to process the information.
Yep.
I was on the verge of becoming an atheist. However, Jesus had another plan for me. Eventually, I went to a church. I had to get baptized to wash the watchtower off of me. Exactly 28 years to the day, I was baptized and symbolized my dedication to Jesus. The mental freedom that I have now is amazing. Please put a nail in the coffin for me. I ask that you don't mention my name. My initials are fine. So this was JH, and he was the white one.
Yes, freedom is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yes. Now this was another family, and this is why you got this out.
Go ahead. I'll let you get started.
Okay. Dear Mike and Kim, my family and I are all leaving Watchtower. Turned in our letters of disassociation last week at the midweek meeting. Would you please put our nail in the coffin? We are Jonathan, Rachel, and our 3 boys. My mother-in-law died 6 months ago from cancer. As part of her will, she donated her life savings to Watchtower, but left Rachel with the property, everything else that goes along with it. A few months ago, a couple of elders approached us to see how things were coming along and asked us about what we intended to do with the property. Kimmy's becoming enraged on this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. they want it all, folks. Watchtower wants every last damn dime they can get their hands on, even someone else's inheritance.
They're not happy with just her life savings, her money.
Right.
They want it all.
Including the property.
Yeah. We hadn't made any final decisions, but we're strongly leaning towards selling the property and buying some private land up in Montana where we could raise our 3 boys. The youngest son is autistic, and my wife and I have always talked about Montana. It's a beautiful place. We love Robert Redford's movie, The Horse Whisperer, and A River Runs Through It, both which were filmed in Montana. I had mentioned this idea to our son's therapist, and he thought it was a wonderful idea for our autistic son, that the natural surroundings would have a positive effect on him. He's a very smart kid and is always full of smiles and loves the natural world. He loves watching Coyote Peterson on YouTube, the guy that is always testing the bites and stings of insects. And actually, that's a great healing place for all of you, not just your youngest son. The elders asked us before making any final decisions if we would prayerfully consider donating the sales from the property to Watchtower on a temporary loan, and shared some scriptures with me. I told the elders I appreciated the encouragement, but that my mother-in-law already left them in her will her entire life savings. They asked me, what would the poor widow in Jesus' illustration, who gave everything she had, do if she were in our shoes?
Cult.
They want it all. Yeah, that really, really sounded odd to me. I told them to please give me some time to think things over. I went home after the meeting that night and felt really conflicted. On one hand, I wanted to give to the kingdom with all my mind, heart, and soul. But on the other hand, I have a family to think about. I stayed up till about 3 in the morning that night, praying about what I was told and see what I could find in the Bible to help guide my mind to make decisions to help benefit the family. This was one of those times when I needed a blatant answer from God. I asked him to show me blatantly what to do. What do I do? The weird thing is that some time ago I had read that Jehovah may not be the proper name for God, but it could very well be Yahweh. I cannot explain why, but when I was done praying, I was addressing my prayer to Yahweh and not Jehovah. Why I did this, I simply don't know. Something that is hard to put in words overcame me in this prayer. We are talking about making an important decision that will directly affect my wife and 3 boys. The next day, a co-worker came up to me and asked me if JWs were hurting financially. I asked him what he meant, and he told me about the molestation lawsuit in Canada. I hadn't heard anything about it, but told him I would look into it. The floodgates opened up. Why hasn't JW.org told any of us that they have to pay $4,000 a day to protect a pedophile database? I couldn't keep any of this to myself, so I had to talk to my wife. Unknown to me, she had been looking into Jason Zelda's video series and showed me about Watchtower's investment scams. Jason's smoking gun series, etc. My wife asked me, "You told me that you prayed asking God for a blatant answer. What are the odds of you and I both coming across these things totally on our own?" I saw Jason's video on cult busting and knew what he was speaking the truth. I was shaken up and have waken up, and I now see the light. Jason Zelda is a true man of God. My kids said they wanted to leave Watchtower. I was blown away to hear my own kids say that, including our autistic son. Autistic kids don't just talk like this without having a reason. They see things that the average person like me can't see. They are very, very intelligent. Too intelligent for any elder to handle. My wife just looked at me and said, "We are not the ones that need Watchtower. They are the ones that need us. What they want is our time, our resources, and our money. Look at the life they live in an elaborate new world headquarters, chowing down on the finest in steak and eggs, while the rest of us are out here in the jungle, struggling to make ends meet." I'll never forget what she told me next. "The kids and I love you more than you know, but right now as your wife, I need you. I just lost my mom. Your 3 sons need you to think about what's best for them and not about what's best for Watchtower. Watchtower is not going to raise your 3 kids. Those men in Warwick have probably never even changed a dirty diaper before in their entire lives. The kids and I want to sell everything and go to Montana, and we're doing it with or without you. The house and land that Mom left is in my name. Have the elders forgot that? We as a family stopped using the name of Jehovah in prayer and began praying together using the name Yahweh to address our Father in prayer. A couple of months later, the property we inherited sold, and we found a house with private land in Montana along the borders of the Big Blackfoot River, and we still have money left over. My wife insists that I use some of the money and do something I've always wanted to do. Enroll in a local school that one of the fly fishing shops have to train new fly fishing guides. It has been one of my lifelong dreams.
I'm envious. It's been one of my lifelong dreams. I mean, God, I've been tying fishing flies for 4 decades. I'm envious, brother. I'm really envious.
The school is 30 days long, and they help assist you in landing a job as a professional fly fishing guide. The school is called Sweetwater Travel, and I got accepted into the school. My class session is for May 2018. It's a dream come true. My wife is a school teacher, and she just found a job with a private school in Montana that starts the new semester. She's replacing a teacher that is retiring. Because of my wife being an employee at the private school, all 3 of our boys have been accepted into the same private school, and the remaining money we have left after my guide service school is going to pay for their private school. We have enough money left over to pay for all 3 of their private school for the next 4.5 years.
Excellent.
What a blessing. The counselor said after 2 years of attending, students qualify for grants should they need it, so we're set to go for quite some time to come. The school is grades K through 12. My wife and I went back to the elders and told them we had reached a decision about what we're going to do with the property. The elders were quite excited to hear from us. That is, until they saw what we gave them was our disassociation letters. We told them about everything that had transpired over the last few months, what we had learned, etc. I told the presiding elder, "Brother, I'll tell you like my wife told me. We're not the ones that need Watchtower. They are the ones that need us. They want our time, resources, and our money." I was so close to giving up the sales of my mother-in-law's property of the Watchtower Pedophile Protection Fund. And besides, may I remind you that the property is in my wife's name, not mine. We told them this was our last meeting, and in front of our kids, they called my wife and I apostates.
Of course.
I told them, "Happy trails to you all, have a good life." We're so excited about our new lives and coming in Montana. We're so happy. I can't believe that Yahweh heard our prayers. It's a feeling beyond words. Yes, there is a life beyond Watchtower, and I know that it's hard to believe for any JW. It was hard for me to believe, but seeing is believing. Love to all the brothers and sisters who have found their freedom. It feels so wonderful.
Yes, it does.
Awesome story. All right. That is all of them.
Except for one here from a JW.
Oh, that's a good one.
This is still some JWs that are stuck in the mindset.
But they're still watching our videos.
Oh yeah. when I am judged one day, God is not going to judge me on what book had a subliminal image or what wrong Watchtower had said about Jesus' death. He is going to judge me on what I did in my ministry. Oh, you mean you're earning salvation? Oh, okay, I may misunderstand Scripture,
Do
but
some research on grace.
yes, and how many people reconciled with him with my help? Oh, you're boasting and bragging now? I won't be judged on what others do or don't do. Jehovah used pagan kings to do God's will. Maybe I am in a cult, but this cult is the only religion doing God's will in Jesus' ministry.
What about all the other religions
Yeah.
preaching, like Mormons?
They're all claiming the same thing. So God uses what he can to get his word out, even if it is a cult willing to do it. What is worse? And that is the worst case scenario. There is a wonderful gift for those who endure to the end.
Jehovah wants you back, Kimmy.
Yeah. The problem is, dear friend, you have an overlapping thought process. That's what your problem is. See, you can't see the evil that is in front of your eyes. You cannot see that the penis on the songbook, which is what this person is referring to, is actually Baal worship. You turn a blind eye to what's in front of you. That veil that the Apostle Paul talks about, you need to remove that veil and recognize what you're involved with. That's why Jesus said, get out of her if you do not want to share with her in her sins. Boy, these guys just don't know the scriptures, do they?
No.
Just don't get it.
So thank you so much, everyone, for everything. All the wonderful cards, letters, gifts. We're still getting cards and gifts. And so thank you so much. And we hope and pray that 2018 will see the downfall of Watchtower. And we keep hoping, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And we all want to keep an eye out for the Leah Remini series, because we have heard that Jehovah's Witnesses are going to be the first or second episode. They're just not sure yet which one, so we look forward to that.
Yes.
And so we hope you all have a wonderful Happy New Year. We love you.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everybody. For those of you who want to see Dusty, she's growing so big that I can barely lift her. Dusty, you want to say hi to everybody?
Oh,
Give Daddy kisses.